Toya.
I didn't even 1, 2, 3.
He can't talk. Go.
That's Mike.
That's Toya. And this
And
is
this is
Tech
Tech
Meets Bytes.
Mike.
Hey man, how y'all doing? How y'all doing out there? This is us still perfecting our social distancing remote versions of Tech Beats and Bytes. But how you doing today, Toya?
I'm good. I'm good. How you doing?
I am actually good and exhausted. I've been kind of busy, in a good way, like surprisingly busy, but stuff is
Yeah.
happening.
No, that
Stuff is,
happened.
yeah,
That
you
happened.
know. So we ain't gonna spend a lot of time. Y'all don't really come here to hear us talk about us. So we gonna share some information, share some stuff with you guys.
Let's
So,
go.
so Toya, what's been on your mind? What you got going on?
So we've been talking about this COVID-19. We talked about it a little bit last week, and what's been really interesting is just seeing how people are pivoting right now. There's a lot of pivoting that's happening. So it's the art of pivot, right? How can you sustain your business? What opportunities can you create to continue to stay afloat in this time where things are not quite what they used to be, and who knows what's going to be afterwards. So I was actually out walking yesterday, and there's this cafe in the Grove called Green Street. If you've ever been down to the Grove or Coral Gables, you're familiar with Green Street. And for a minute, they were closed. And then yesterday, when I was walking past it, they're like selling alcohol. They've turned into a liquor store. And I
What?
was like, okay. And they're selling, I don't know if it's their stash. You know what I mean? Like the stuff that they had in their
I
storage,
hope
and
you
they
ain't
like,
busting them and they ain't selling it illegally.
listen, they got banners out. It's like
Oh,
completely noticeable. They got price sheets on the windows. You walk up to the window, they got a little thing to give it to you. Um, but I was like, okay. And then they're selling their private labels. So this is their own like wines, liquors, and everything else like that at cost. So they're not really marking them. So I don't know if it's like a liquidation sort of sale or what they're doing, but it just really sort of hit me because it's like, okay, you gotta do what you gotta do at this time. You gotta be creative. There's no judgment. You gotta make it happen to sit there and
right.
try to survive. And it's interesting because we've seen that too on our side, on the cosmology side, with our retail partners. So our products are carried in various independently owned, Black owned beauty supply stores. And one of our vendors, one of our retail partners in Tampa, My Shade of Texture, shout out to Pam, she pivoted immediately. When the COVID-19 shutdown happened, she immediately started doing curbside. And then
Hmm.
she stood up her website to start doing e-commerce. So she wasted no time. And because she carries like other like essentials, so like women feminine needs and all that kind of stuff, she was able to continue to stay open. And then she's continuing to add to her inventory to supply those needs that you could get from like a drugstore. So she is like on top of it. And I think that is a really good example of how to respond in a crisis, especially as a business owner, because at the end of the day, we're problem solvers, right? We
Right,
started a
right.
business to solve a problem. So because something happens that's outside of your control does not mean that you stop solving a problem, right? That's where the pivot comes in. So that's really been on my mind, and just paying attention to what is happening on the street, literally, like in your neighborhood. Is really inspiring to see how people are pivoting.
That's dope. So I've seen some different pivots happening. I know for one, I don't know if I've seen as much as pivots as much as focus. I've seen a lot of people having to revamp their focus. So I've seen people diving deeper into actually self-marketing themselves. One of them
Mm-hmm.
you would actually know, Donnell Butler,
Mm-hmm.
DB3 from Tallahassee, from Florida State. He's now in
Yeah.
Jacksonville. He finally started promoting himself, and he's seeing an uptick in his business. Like, he's never actually designed business cards, redid his actual logo. And so I'm noticing some people that we know that kind of have substantial businesses are actually just focusing on promoting their business. It seems like the pivot is you can't just market everybody else. You actually have to market what you do. And so
Yeah.
he's actually doing pretty good. So that's been impressive to see. And that's one of the things we did. But I haven't really seen any outrageous pivots versus some people had a slowdown, but I'm definitely curious to see if everything picks back up, immediately the way people expect it to, or does it still take time because people aren't coming out? Now, I have seen the one pivot I've seen is a lot of people have been like, I own a restaurant, don't go through Uber or none of these delivery services, order directly with us and just come pick it up. I've seen that a lot. I do believe Cracker Barrel, I don't know if everybody know this kind of hurt my pockets, but Cracker Barrel does free delivery.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So Cracker Barrel is doing free delivery, and that's been amazing.
I haven't.
Because you talking about $25 for a whole, you good. Like you full with a little bit of leftovers, right?
Whole Sunday breakfast.
Right. Like
on a
talking about a real Sunday brunch for no reason. So I was like, okay, $25, I can do this. So that's been one of the things, but I'm really worried about retail. I know retail was already suffering anyways, but I'm wondering what retail is going to look like when people realize you don't need to go to the store. Like Amazon has gotten all my money. I know at this point, I'm cool with about 2 Amazon drivers and the UPS truck dude. He just came he now coming to the ring like, hey, Mike, I got something for you. You want me to just leave it here at the front door? And so I'm like, how you know my name? But I guess
it's on the package.
You know how when paranoid, why you know my name, fam? Like that thing say King Michael Hall on it. Call me by my first name. But he's like, hey, Mike, how you doing today? So, all right. So everybody out there, if you're watching, we try to make this a little interactive. Put it in the comments. Tell us how you are pivoting. What's your pivot looking like? Because we're interested to know. I think it'd be very, very interested to know how you guys are pivoting because it's a struggle out there. And I do feel bad because I feel like we're kind of flourishing. We've actually been doing good and everybody's not doing good. But I mean, this is the time that if you haven't really taken it to that next level, you should be pushing yourself because there's some people out there that's just, they getting it. They are really getting it.
Yeah. So, no, this is not the time to sit on your hands and be woe is me. Listen, there's stuff to get. Pay attention to what is popping right now and get in it.
Well, Latoya say, listen 3 times in a row. She about to tell you something. Listen.
No, for real. Because that was just a really good example. Like, think about it. A restaurant has a stash of alcohol. Nobody's in. So it's like, okay, let's move this. Alcohol sales are always up when things are down. It was like, opportunity, let's keep it moving. So that's what I'm saying. You really have to pay attention to what's going on. Look at the stock market. See which stocks are like doing really well. Like Clorox is out of control right now. You know what I mean? Just really paying attention to your environment and thinking outside the box and not feeling as if this experience has made you a victim.
If we talking out of control, your boy Elon Musk is out of control. That's who out of control. Elon Musk is on a whole nother, like, I'm rich, I'm opening, y'all gonna arrest somebody, arrest me. That stock market is out of control right now. That thing keep going up and down. I'm like, okay, you got it, fam. I can't deal with you. All right. So a topic I wanted to talk about in the technology world, Launch Code has launched out of Miami. So I don't know if people remember in about 2000, right? Deuces. 2016, the rich guy, I'm not even going to mention his name, comes in. He owns pieces of other big companies. And I think I'm actually in the photo that Business Journal posted because I was there when he did that speech.
Oh, okay.
And so he tells this whole thing of why he chose Miami, and he gives this whole spiel and makes it sound all dreamy. Our close friend Matt Hagman is sitting in the front row with his Matt Hagman smile on. Y'all know that $1 million smile. And they get their millions. They get millions. Things get a little rough. Things get a little tight, They out. They gone. I just want to know before I say my piece and go on my rant, how do you feel about this?
Well, honestly, you breaking the information. I have not been that clued in, I will say, to like what's going on that sphere because I've been focused on my own business.
Right.
But I will say that, when you think about, well, for one, Launch Code was not from here, right? So
see, this is what I tell
so
y'all.
that.
Toya just give y'all this. She give y'all this heat more politically correct. That's all it is. It's the same heat. Yes, Launch Code came from St. Louis.
Right, right. So they was like, listen, this ain't really where we at. We got to go back on home or wherever they're going back to. So I think that's just a sign of the times. You just have people. Some people are recoiling, right, and sheltering literally in place. They're like, whoa, let's close ranks. Let's protect what we got so we can make sure that we sustain beyond. While you have other people who are expanding in this time that we're in. So I think that that's just another example of a different reaction that this COVID-19 has caused for some businesses, and it's looking different for different people. It's just what it is.
So I guess y'all see it on the shirt. Purposely wore certain shirts. You know, we're gonna start just delivering the messages on the shirt. They ain't want to be here because y'all ain't giving them no more money. It is what it is. You can feel what you want to feel, but being in South Florida, for one, it ain't that cheap. That's the first thing. Second of all, you have to work to make money down here. It's not just a whole bunch of corporate industries and a whole bunch of free money floating around here. And I get it, dog. You had to leave South Florida because money tight and this ain't what you want to do. But don't try to blame it on COVID-19. It's a lot of people down here that got a lot less money than you, and we buckling down and making it happen. This ain't your home. You don't care about home the way we care about South Florida. And I know for some people, it's like, oh, you ain't from here. I've been in South Florida for 16 years. At this point, going on 18, because I also lived in West Palm Beach for 2 years. This is my life. So this is home. It's just, I hate to say this, we've already ran through, and we didn't have the discussion in detail, but they've already released the numbers of how minority-owned nonprofits and female-owned nonprofits aren't receiving that much of the money, and most of the money are still going to white males. Y'all giving money to rich people to try to make poor people make money. It ain't going to work out. That's still the trickle-down effects of economics, whether you want to see it that way or not. Give people to the people in the hood like Valencia Gunder that's actually in the neighborhoods making this happen because they care about the neighborhood. Quit giving these monies to rich people that just want the good weather. That's why they want it. They're not trying to come in Miami because they want to make Miami better. They're not trying to come to South Florida because they want to make South Florida better. They want the perks with the weather. That's all it is. Now you got people like Brian Burkeen that might be going back and forth to Ohio and Miami, but you wouldn't even know that Brian is from Miami if you don't follow all his posts. You would forget that that man is from Philadelphia. And you would almost think, oh, he must have also grew up in Cincinnati. Brian embraces wherever he's at. Those are the kind of people I want to see you give money to. But these little out-of-towners that just stop through and dip in and they be out because they got their little coins, y'all failing us, man. There's so many people here that deserve that money, that actually care about the community, that if you gave the money to them, you will see a much further impact because they don't have the ability to just pick up and leave. So think about that when you're doing the process. When somebody owns a home here, not renting a condo, like that should be a part of that should be a part of the actual when you start getting, do you have a house here? Are you paying taxes? Because then we know you ain't gonna just pick up and bounce. But it ain't hard to break. I bet you anything, if we looked at their exit time versus somebody's lease, those things might start matching up. So,
but you made a really good point. Oh, sorry, you're not finished.
No, I'm done.
They want to interrupt the rant.
You know I can just go, but now I'm done.
No, I was going to say you made a really good point about people who invest where they are, regardless of if that's where they're from. Yeah. And when you think about it,
yeah,
right,
yeah.
Right. And when you think about it, that's one of the things that people sort of say about Miami, right? It's all kind of glitz and glam, very superficial. But that's because a lot of the people that have sort of made it, quote unquote, or have that appearance of making it, a lot of times they end up being transplants. And they're necessarily not invested in the growth and the stability of what Miami is and what Miami can be. So it's interesting to sort of talk about that and look at those who have done great things in the community versus those who say they're going to do great things and then don't have the receipts to show it.
And that's all they're going to do is they're going to talk about it. And the pictures sound great, but like I think you got to start operating like the CRAs. The CRAs, if you don't have an address in those communities, they don't really give you the money like that. Or they give you more points. They give you more points on your at the process when you have an address of that community. And then if you have an address within that county, they give you a certain amount of points. But yo, if you just moved here just to collect a check, think about that before y'all keep giving them this money, because this is what's going to happen. So now, and a lot of people might be like, oh, but you know, like, yeah, I know some cool cats that work with Launch Code, but that's actually why I'm mad. Where do they go work at now? How do they operate? How do they keep their job? How do they sustain their families? Because once again, they have an address here. They don't get to pick up like the billionaire and just go back to St. Louis and suspend all actions and say it ain't gonna work out. Mm-hmm. And like our dear friend Felicia Hatcher said, she thought they were going anyways. Y'all ain't out there in them streets like that. Let's just be honest.
Show and prove. Show and prove.
And I know a lot of people might be thinking, man, sometimes it's just, yeah, we are going off we go hard for our community. We go hard for the people we care about. But I think we need to because had a dear friend of ours, Miss Spikes, that made there go Amazon right now. They're going to have to just leave that package at the door. I know what it is, too. Hold on. I'm sorry. This is live. This is what we got to do. I can't have nothing stolen. I need to just make sure. Yeah, that's definitely UPS. So.
We can play some Jeopardy music.
Oh, that's a new FedEx dude. It looks like he pulled on my grass. Hold on one second, y'all. Go ahead, Toya. I really got to take
care. This is when we need some sound effects and some music. So, commercial break.
I wish I had some.
Really good conversation. This is a really, really good conversation in terms of, just the community and how to invest in the community. And the CRA is a really, really good example, because the CRA or other sort of organizations like the Miami Bayside Foundation, those organizations who look to invest in specific communities, you do have to have an address there in order to even apply to get funding from them. And then they also bring you into a process, right? So there is somewhat of a grooming that happens when you go through those processes and everything like that. So that's a really good example of the CRAs or other sort of foundations, like I was saying, like the Miami Bayside Foundation, right, where you have to have an address in certain neighborhoods in order to even apply to get the money. And it's because they have a specific mission and they're trying to target a specific purpose and make sure their dollars work.
So since you are all natural and you wearing green, I don't know what the color itself has anything to do with it besides weed. Let's talk about the mental wellness and the love of verses. So how did you, as a Black woman, I'm going to give you this platform to sound off real quick. How did you take in the experience of Jill Scott versus Erykah Badu?
I loved it. I think it was a really good example of two artists who have a huge amount of respect for each other. And it was literally just about them sort of celebrating themselves and their catalog. Right. And the work that they've done in the past, different concerts and festivals that they've done together in the past. And it just showed a different level of what verses can be, right? So it wasn't as if they were trying to one-up each other. Which, I mean, that's fun and all and good. But sometimes, especially for them, right? You're talking about Jill Scott, Erykah Badu. Those are two women who are all about love and just womanhood, sisterhood, and just creating that vibe with their music. So their verses ended up being what I thought it was going to be. It was fantastic. And we actually did the Erykah Badu after party where she broke out her Tight Wild DJ collective, which was so dope. To see other women DJs who she was premiering. And Erykah Badu, let me tell you something. Though, because we talked about this on the last show. But the way that she is handling digital content is fantastic. She went from doing the versus battle to then not immediately, right? She had a little bit of a lag. But to maybe like 10, 15 minutes later, launching on her own website, streaming video content and pulling in streams from other DJs remote, while also running commercials in between for her incense. Badu incense. And I'm not going to say the whole word, but it's Badu pussy.
Badu pussy? Is that what you want to say? Pussy. We ain't getting paid nobody. This is us. This is our content.
It's 2:00 in the afternoon. I'm just saying.
Somebody drinking somewhere. It's coronavirus. Somebody drinking.
But I just love how she's doing that. And, when you talk about, because her content is free, but she is hitting you up in other ways, right? So she has her commercials running for her product. She had merchandise on her website for their Versus concert. And then she's like, listen, donate. And that's the thing. When you talk about having content on the internet, there are different ways to monetize it. And monetizing doesn't always mean paying up front. You maybe want to give a little bit of value, like Gary Vaynerchuk. He talk about jab, jab, right hook. You need to give a little and then be like, go ahead and pay me. Because that's what people expect on the internet. So I love the way that she monetized that and how she is just like killing the game when it comes to it. And even that dollar concert that she did a few weeks ago, where I think she had like hundreds of thousands of people in there, and it was $1. So she is doing it right. I love it.
So I think we should say this now. Dante will send you all his Cash App so that y'all can start donating so we can keep Tech Me Some Bytes alive. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to put that out there. I want to say I thought it was dope. I grilled the perfect ribeye, medium well. And it was amazing to watch. I actually sat back, zoned out, and I actually watched it on the big TV. So I was actually streaming out. I thought it was, like you said, a great experience to see them not really battling. But I think that was, to me, that was the essence of a perfect collaboration. Because what I can see now is a Erykah Badu, Jill Scott album that would just kill the charts. Like, they need to collab. I don't even know what you would call that. Jilly from Philly and Badu, whatever her second name is. But if they collab, yeah, that's what they should do. Because they would have to use those secondary names to separate themselves from the record labels. Because if you don't brand yourself under your official name, Fat Belly Bella, if you don't brand yourself under your official names under your contract, they actually have the freedom to do more. And so
right, or doing a collaborative like Black Star, where it was Most Def and Talib Kweli. So yeah,
so they have to do that. So I think that would be dope for them to make that happen. So also another thing is I want to tap on the fact, because it still is Tech Me Some Bytes. One of the bigger things is the data that she got. Erykah made the power move.
Yes, she did.
Yeah, I know Alicia is loud. That's her microwaving. Look, man.
Oh, okay. Because I'm like, somebody is making lunch.
Look, you streaming. I don't have a studio. I'm in the kitchen. They got the best lighting. So, yeah, everybody that's watching, I'm sorry. I don't get no respect in this household. I just pay half of the mortgage, and
Listen, it's a new norm.
You gotta subdue
just
to the
make
pain.
it do what it do.
Look.
And y'all can't see Dante on the screen. He is
happy wife, I get to just live my life. It ain't no happy wife, happy life. Happy wife, you get to live your life. Oh, thank you.
Right.
Go get yourself a little microwave outside. But anyway, so as she captured that data, I just thought that was an amazing thing that she's capturing all that data and she gets to move forward with her platform and actually take it to another level. So Michelle Talbert has been doing this. Adrian Cole is doing this. And I know some other people, but one of the biggest things that people should take away from that, use one platform to engage people in another platform so you can control and capture your own data. That's why we'll be talking about a exclusive that we're going to announce later on in the show. We got an exclusive announcement. But capturing your own data and controlling your own data is going to be key to grow, because they're making money off of your data, whether you see it or not. I mean, there's some people that's out there that's like, oh, I just post. They're not making no money from me. I just want to share stuff with my friends. No, my friend, they are making money off of you, and they're making good money off of you, because every time one of your friends got to scroll down to see your picture, there's an advertisement that pops up. That counts as an impression. And I know some people don't think about that, but be mindful of what you post and how much you use it, because somebody's always making money off of your content. So speaking of, and I also appreciated all the comments. I know some of the dudes were like, this wasn't really a battle. I thought it was going to be different, but I really appreciate all the females out there that was talking about how it made them feel and the love they got and the sisterhood from it. I thought that was really dope. So with Versus, because to me, Versus is the only thing really popping in music. Although I have I found some dope new music. We'll share that next week. Mm-hmm. Next is Nelly and Ludacris. I just want to know how unanxious you are about that.
I'm not. When I saw that, I was like, what? What would have been dope was for them to continue the whole like. What could have been cool was for them to continue the whole like women's thing, and they could have hit us up with Monica and Brandy. Like that could have been fun.
Because that's always been a battle. That's been a real battle.
Right. And I know Monica's already kind of came out and was like, if it's gonna be about love and like not trying to pit us against each other, that she was cool with it. But I think, you gotta kind of ride the wave a little bit. And like Nelly and Ludacris, like, hey, what?
Now, I think Luda is because Luda's been doing good with his advertisement, and he did some kind of little live concert too from his house or whatever. But okay, if it's gonna be another set of females, who would it be?
You asking me? I think Monica and Brandy. That's my vote. I would love to see that one.
I want to see Janet Jackson and Sade.
You think? Huh. Janet Jackson and Sade. I think that could be cool. I think Janet would be good in a battle. Sade, I don't know how she, you never really see Sade in that light.
She don't ever do nothing like that either. Or Janet and Beyonce.
We was having a whole conversation about that, about my uncle who liked to just start stuff. We was having a whole conversation about who's the best dancer, Janet Jackson or Beyonce. So that could be a cool one.
I think Janet in her prime versus Beyonce, Janet destroys Beyonce. We don't even dance.
I think they go neck and neck a little
bit. What we doing? It ain't the same kind of dancing.
No, it's not. It's not.
Janet wasn't twerking back then. Janet was running all across that stage. She was trying to emulate her brother. Those were some real workouts. You could take a Janet Jackson performance and turn that into a workout program.
No. But they could do a whole TikTok challenge. That's what they could do. Right.
They could. Like, I don't know. Janet got some freaky stuff. That might be some bad TikTok. Velvet rope has some people out here TikToking and being tied up. So let's go ahead and run your segment, Toya. You had something.
Yeah. So in these streets, so last Friday, everyone did the I Run with Maud, which was to honor Ahmaud, who of course was gunned down like in the middle of the street while he was out jogging by two white men. And it's interesting, right? Because we're in these times where sometimes going for a walk or going for a run is the only thing that you can do to kind of feel somewhat normal and to get outside and to get some air and to get some sun and to not become a hermit in your house and then like lose all your color. And when it happened, I was just sort of thinking about it, right? Because I like to go for walks. I will often go down and walk to the marina. And then the fear and the thoughts and the processes of that could happen to me or that could happen to someone that I love. It just really kind of set in. And I remember that after I saw that on the news, I kind of second guessed myself or thought again about taking a walk or going for a run. And it's interesting because the whole idea is to continue to walk and to continue to run. But what is that doing to us on an emotional and a psychological level when we're seeing this information in the news? So I want to kind of bring this up to have a conversation about it and to get some feedback from you guys as well. Like, how did that impact you? How has that changed you? Are you not going for a walk or for a run because you've seen what happened to him? And did it give you some level of hesitation to where you're like, I'm not going to do that right now? This may be I'm not trying to be a part of a trend or anything that's happening like that. And that's what I want to kind of bring up with the whole in these streets is just to really kind of engage in a conversation, because honestly, there's mental health issues that are happening right now. And sometimes getting outside is the only way that people can sort of maintain some sense of normalcy. And to then see that in the news, how is that impacting us on a soul level and an emotional level? It really deserves a conversation.
Yeah, I mean, I guess one of the biggest things for me is I honestly, I'm at a point in my life where some of that stuff I almost have to like block it out mentally, because it causes anxiety. to have to always be thinking about that and constantly going through that, especially right when I was about to redo my workout program and I was about to include cycling. And it's not as much so that I have the fear of not my neighborhood, but those kind of things do put a fearful thought in your mind when you have to experience that and you see people going through that.
Yeah.
So it's definitely it's been a problem, but I do want to breathe fresh air, and I can't just keep mowing the grass and picking weeds as my workout. I need some true cardio workout. So it's been a problem, man. I wrote it in a poem, and I'm happy people are running and doing what they're doing, but I'm tired. I'm just tired of hearing about it. I'm tired of seeing young black men die for no reason.
Yeah.
I guess for me, it's like, even though it's been happening at a younger demographic, when you go certain places, people don't look at me and be like, oh, that's a 40-year-old college educated entrepreneur over there. If I'm wearing if I'm wearing headphones and a paper planes hat and I got on some shorts and some J's, they still think I'm late 20, early 30s. You know what I'm saying? That's how they look at me. So I'm not saying that I look youthful. I got gray hair and everything, but that's how they look at me when I have on that attire, and I'm automatically judged that way. And I'm like, when it comes time to shoot somebody and kill somebody, that judgment is going to be the same. I'm not running around. We not in Black Mirror. I'm not running around with an avatar above my head that got my stats. No
like
crime convicted. Safe. Right. like I feel like that's almost like what we need, like a little bubble. Like, yo, hit the bubble or run your scan on me, bro. Like, I don't commit crimes. I'm just over here trying to exercise. And I didn't get to watch Don Lemon's thing. I fell asleep because I know he was supposed to interview the best friend. But I can tell you, when Don Lemon was telling me he was interviewing the best friend, and he wasn't telling me, he was telling the world, but
right, you felt like he was talking to you.
Felt like Don was talking to me, like, Don, Michael, I got you. Go interview. So when he interviewed the best friend, like, my heart was like, I pray that the best friend says he was into architecture. It's like, I pray his best friend was like, he was thinking about going into construction. So he was just, and the messed up part was, I wasn't praying that so that this young man could pursue his career. I was praying for that just to have another reason for his death to be unjustified. And then I had to stop and think, why do I need another reason for his death to be unjustified and for this conviction? Because that's how our system is set up. My heart is already preparing that these men might get off. It's not how harsh of a sentence. My heart has to prepare that this man might not be convicted. These two men might be able to walk away from killing a young man, even if this was their reasoning, for killing a young man for trespassing on a property that wasn't theirs.
Right. And they had no business being nosy for no reason. Like, if that's what their reason is, which I think is a lie, because you got somebody following you behind you recording it. So really what you were out there for, right? So there's a whole...
Like, you in Brunswick with a paparazzi just because? Y'all film y'all local rides every day? Like, what the hell?
Right, no. Right. And there's a whole other dark twistedness that I'm sure is underlying this that we may never know, that the public may never know. But there are private communities out there who do crazy things. So just going to leave that there.
I just hope that I hope they don't actually try to pursue a hate crime prosecution, because I think that's going to be too hard to actually prove. Hate crime take a lot more. Just get them for murder 1 or murder 2 and just put them away. The old man had died in 25 years anyway. Give him 25 to life and just call it a wrap. But
yeah. And I know, and for me, I haven't been watching the case fully. But from what I've seen from the mom, I've heard that she was like on maybe GMA or something like that. And they asked her, like, how she felt about it. And when the police called her, if she believed what they said about him being shot. And then she was like, yeah. And it's just kind of like, when you think about sort of this situation and then the conversation that is going on around this, because it's just another incident, right? And we're getting tired of it. But there's still such a larger conversation that needs to happen. So for me, it's really a conversation about how does this play into what's going on right now? What does this mean in the psyche of the people? Because we're all sitting at home, and just the nuance that is not being said and how this is playing into our everyday lives. It's a really, really interesting time to consider that. and to consider what's going on right now.
I've always wondered how that affects you raising Taco, having a young black son. How does that affect you? I could only imagine the impact it has on you every time you see something like this.
Yeah, so, or when Kevin goes out for a run, because he'll run like sometimes at nighttime. And so you always just like, hey, you all right? Hey, you good? Like, where are you running? What's your track? Just to know that, that in case something happens, I can say where you were.
Right. And now it's the funny thing is, it's like, it's not even that you're checking in because somebody's being nosy, or you're checking in so somebody can keep tabs. No. You're checking in just so people can feel comfortable when you leave the house. Like, I'm going here, I'm going to be here. Unless something else comes up, which I shall notify you, this should be my expected travel time. Like, you're just doing that just to make somebody feel safe because they're at home and you're a black man not doing anything. You're not pushing the limit. You're just going to the goddamn store. And it should take me 38 minutes. If I go past 57-minute mark, start to worry and call my phone.
Right.
Like, it's draining people. I'm tired. Quit killing people. I'm not even going to just say quit killing black, but quit killing people, but especially quit killing innocent black men. Just stop. I'm scared. I'm at the point where I'm scared.
Yeah. So it's real. Like, PTSD is real. And if people want to look to the psyche of African American people, we probably look crazy as hell. And they'll probably be like, I don't know how y'all are still living.
We don't need we just normally.
Do. Right. We survivors, and it's what we do. But it's rough, and it is tough, and it is really draining, and emotionally, like, it's a lot.
That's why we like whiskey and beer and wine, because we gotta balance shit. So
right. And soul food. Listen.
Right. Comfort food. That's why we need comfort food. That's why we cook as good as we do. Shout out to Danny Spikes. I saw that she was in here earlier. So our big announcement before we get into some other stuff is we have decided that we're going to take our content and build our own podcast record label. So Only Podcasters is going to be launching in the next 30 days, where we're going to recruit just like Puffy, not like Suge Knight. So this is more like Bad Boy. I'm gonna be dancing all up in your
video.
But we wanted to curate some content, and we wanted to give other people a chance to get their voices out there and collaborate and work together. So hopefully we'll have about 12 to 24 people signed to our label, and we'll be working with Billionaire Bus Media. Michelle Talbert is coming on board, Latrice Langston. Michelle was one of the first black women to actually make it into iTunes in a podcast back in 2009. So that was over 11 years ago. Latrice used to work at a radio station. So I'm actually recruiting people that have worked in the music industry and the podcast industry to help us put this together. So LaToya is going to have her show. Dante's going to have a show. L. David Stewart is coming out with a show. Some of these shows will be 15 minutes. Some will be 30 minutes. Some will be an hour. But we just want to keep on giving people informative content so that they can spread it around. And, hopefully this whole thing will turn into a big symposium. Instead of doing a concert, we'll just have this big, large speaking engagement. It might have to be virtual if we plan on doing it in the next few years. But we got some big things coming. Toy, I know we've been on time with our shows. We hit like 45, 50-minute marks. Like, we've syndicated. We got commercial time and everything.
Commercials coming soon.
Yeah, commercials are definitely coming soon because we gotta make some money. Is there anything else you want to discuss before I do the last two runs? And is there anything?
No, I just think, just continue to. We talked a little bit about mental health and what we're seeing in the news and how that impacts us. But for real, like, self-care is extremely important right now. Don't feel like you have to push yourself and be trying to one up everybody and just keeping it going. We are having this pause for a reason. Take your time with it. Like, literally take your time with it. If one day you feel like I just need to like Netflix and binge a little bit, Netflix and binge. If the next day you want to focus on like your health and your strength and exercise, do that. Use this time to really set in place some routines, some like mantras, some rituals, some things that can help you to get through. Like, take your time, be gentle with yourself, and know that we'll get through it.
And with that being said, just realize $1 million and $1 billion companies are shutting down and having to reset. If an entity that large needs to shut down and reset, you should do the same. So actually, Dante, can we go ahead and get into it? Someone needs to hear this. So someone needs to hear this, and it's actually about patience. This has a lot to do with what Toya just said, and showed you how in sync me and my friends are, because she didn't even know this is what I was going to talk about for someone needs to hear this. But patience and confidence. And why I wanted to put those two together is that I made a comment yesterday that was actually very braggadocious. It was kind of off the cusp, but it's actually how I've had to push myself. And Michelle asked me, how do you see or how do you view competition? And I simply said to her, I don't see competition anymore because nobody is me. And it doesn't mean that I'm better than anybody else. It doesn't mean that I can outperform everybody else. But what I know is that I'm not going to be duplicated. What I know is my nephew may be the next best version of me, but there's nobody that's going to be me. And that's the confidence you have to have sometimes. I've accepted my flaws. I've accepted the things that I can't do. I've accepted the things that I'm not going to be great at. That's why I have a business partner. That's why I have a co-host. I know where my strengths and weaknesses lie, but I know nobody can be me. And I know that I can be great if I so choose to be. And that's the path I will have to take. But what comes with that is the patience of knowing I'm going to have to mess up. I'm going to have to fuck up. That's why my show is called Fuck It, the Mic is On. Because I don't plan on that show being perfect. I'm just speaking my truth. I know that I'm going to have to make some failures. I know that I'm going to have to explode. I know that I'm going to have to learn patience. I know that I need mounds and tons of self-improvement, but it takes time. I didn't get here where I'm at in this house, with this laptop, with this show, with my friends and fans and people following us in 2 weeks, in 2 months. This is 6 years of work. This is me, Latoya, Dante, Sophia, Alicia, sitting in Kathy Ellison's office in 6th Trump saying, hey guys, we need to make a change. And for 2 years while we were trying to make that change, we didn't know what the change would be, and we didn't know if anybody would believe in us. But I didn't come into that room selling it that way to my team. Latoya can tell you, I made it feel like we was about to have $1 million industry within the next 30 days, because that's what I had to show, because Latoya ended up developing her own company, and just cosmology is on a whole nother trajectory, but we built the team to make this happen. It's going to take time, guys. And right now may not be your time. Right now, you may need to just regroup and pull yourself together. But your time is coming. But you have to be consistent and keep with it and have the confidence that you can do it. When the odds are against you, it may not pop off then. Don't think that certain things are going to save you, because sometimes Rome has to burn. You will have to hit bottom, but you keep fighting. It's not how many times you fall. It's not even how many times you get up. It's how you get up. Do you get up still believing, or do you get up feeling defeated? Because a lot of people get up and they still feel defeated, and that's the end of it. But if you get up and you still believe, I can knock this motherfucker out, you won't lose that fight. You just got to learn how to dodge and jab a little bit different. And if you don't believe in that, go look at Mike Tyson's photos and videos and look how Mike Tyson looked 6 months ago or a year ago versus Mike Tyson pretty much got his fighting body back and is still moving the same way. You can do whatever you want to, but it takes patience, dedication, and you will have to overwork yourself. Nothing is going to come by just doing enough. Everything with greatness comes with doing more than enough and pushing yourself to the limit. But it's patience and confidence. That's what you need right now. Take your time, believe in yourself, and everything will happen. So that's it. Toya, anything you want to add to that?
No, I think we covered it both ends.
So let's go ahead and close this out.
That's Mike.
That's Toya. And this is Tech Beats and Bytes. Toya is still so slow with this, y'all.
I am not. I'm saying it on my end on time.
I'm hearing that by 18 seconds later. All right, y'all. We'll see y'all next week. Y'all have a good week.